Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record every Mondays at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time. If you enjoy the channel, please hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications on and you will get an email link with this full episode. And if you want to submit to this show, take a look at the information in the description.
Well, we have the value-oriented reg, or what it seems like, opens from the hijack to 40.
Okay, what's
510 at the Bellagio.
Okay, 510 at the
Or
Beau
Beau Rivage.
That's a big difference. 510 at the Beau Rivage.
Beau Rivage in Mississippi.
Is this a hand that you played?
Yes.
Okay, so 510. How do you spell Beau Rivage? Anyways, 510 at the Beau Rivage. And how deep are you guys?
We are 1840 effective.
1840 effective. Okay.
Yeah, and we cover.
Okay.
And so he opens the 40. We have the cutoff and the button call. They are the two fish in the game.
So he's MP1?
Yeah.
Villain opens the 40, MP1, cutoff, and button call. Okay. And they're fish.
And then we're in the big blind.
Okay.
And we defend Queen 4 suited of spades.
All right, so Villain 1 opens MP1, cutoff and button call. They're fish. Hero in the big blind calls here with Queen 4 of spades. All right, I mean, it's kind of loose, 40, 80, 120. So you're calling another 30 for 130, right? 40, 80, 120, 125. So it's like 30 for 125. You're getting 4 to 1. I mean, these multi-way spots, you do want to look for, like, you would never, like, want to obviously defend with, like, Queen 4 off or something like that. But Queen 4 suited, it's probably pretty close to the sizing. I mean, I would say, like, in a 3x scenario, 3x the pot, and then it went call. You could call here. It could be slightly losing. I actually don't think it's as probably out there as people might think it's.
And the only reason I called was because of the cutoff in the button.
All right. I mean, because they're bad and they're deep.
Yeah. Yeah, they cover the opener.
Yep. So
there's 165 on the flop or in the pot.
Yep.
Time Drake. And so the flop comes 8 of spades, 3 of diamonds, 2 of diamonds.
8 of spades, 3 of diamonds, 2 of diamonds.
And I check.
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning on check raising this board, but it checks around.
Well, check. You're planning on check raising this board. I wouldn't check raise against the preflop raiser if he were to bet and it went fold, or if it went bet call. If you're going to say that if one of the fish bet, that you're going to sort of attack, kind of use that crush slide poker sort of approach of attacking the field better, I can see where you're going. I don't know if I would necessarily say I'm planning on check raising this board. I might say, well, it got checked over to the button and he bet like $30, which was really weak. So I decided to check raise. You've got a backdoor spade draw. You've got a backdoor straight draw with a 4. You have an overcard. I could get on board in certain scenarios with check raising here, but probably not a lot. Probably not against the preflop raiser. Probably one against those fishy guys that is sizing sort of on the lower side, which basically gives their hand strength away. Something like that. Okay, it gets checked through.
And then the turn is a 6 of spades, giving us a combo draw.
So 6 of spades.
And so I check and planning on check raising again, and it checks around.
Okay, so here I don't really agree with your play here. So This is all about relative position in where the guys that check after the pre-flop raiser check from, right? So you've picked up a spade draw here. Obviously, no one has really shown that much, interest in the pot. But the pre-flop raiser checked, and then the two fish checked behind. Normally, the fish are going to bet off with an 8, right? Some of them are going to bet off
Yeah.
with a 3 or a deuce. So when the turn card comes, a card that doesn't make a card over top pair, nothing really changes, especially if those guys are going to bet off with 4-5, which is now a straight. So I can get on board with your play of planning on check raising here with queen 4 of spades on the turn. If the turn was like the 10 of spades, the jack of spades, even the king of spades or the ace of spades, something like that. Like say, for example, was the ace of spades and you thought the preflop raiser like might, make a bet with an ace X that you could possibly get him off of, or he's just representing some, some hand, right? Like he's a preflop raiser and he's going to bet and you picked up a gut shot here, with the ace of spades with additional equity to a 5, but mainly an overcard to an 8 because it changes the nature of the board. When the 6 of spades comes out, nothing's changed. So I can't expect someone to bet through here on the turn. I just come out and bet myself. I think betting here is going to get the most field equity. I mean, if the pot's 165, you could come out and bet you could probably come out. I mean, I think there's two schools of thought here where you could come out and bet large and then possibly give up on some rivers, or you could play a 2-street game where you could kind of use like maybe a $50 or $60 sizing and then bluff rivers too. It's sort of a guessing game with these fish, right? Because like if you use the smaller sizing, they could call with a deuce that they check back, or they could call with a 6. And then you're like, well, am I going to continue to bluff off at, on the river on like sort of offsuit high card blanks? But if you use a larger sizing and they're just going to fold out everything, then that's the way to go. But I think the point here is that I don't expect a bet. I like your play more as a plan of a check raise when it's a card that is going to be higher than top pair. Because again, the preflop raiser check the flop. The guys check behind. They're going to bet off 4-5. They're going to bet off an 8. They're going to bet off a 3. So I don't expect it to get necessarily bet through all that much. And some people might even check a 6 here too. So I'd probably come out and bet.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I check and it checks through again.
Checks through again, right. Okay.
And then the river is the 10 of spades.
Okay.
And so I check again, planning on check raising. And the hijack, the PFR, bets 100.
I mean, so this is the PFR. You said the PFR. Oh, PFR we have as MP1, but you're saying, or whatever. All right, hijack, whatever. MP1. You said it's hijack. I'll just go back and change the notes. So hijack, hero checks, hijack bets. Who's the PFR? 100? Is that right?
Yes, he bets 100.
So again, here, like, I don't really want to go for a check raise here either. So we've got a number of things going on here in terms of how big a hand does somebody have here. A lot of people are going to bet off spade draws that they have on the turn. It got checked through. If the preflop raiser checked an 8-deuce-3 flop with ace queen of spades, and it got checked around, now the turn's 6 of spades, and you check again on the turn, and you're the only one that naturally checked to the preflop raiser. The guys behind him checked on the flop, right? The guy should be betting off like nut spades there like a ton. I would bet off nut spades there a ton, meaning that the preflop raiser really isn't going to have a flush here all that often. This is the same thing with the fish. If they pick up backdoor spades here on turn, these guys are going to bet off. 7-9 is another straight. A lot of times people will semi-bluff here. I just don't think anybody has anything super strong to be able to assume that check raising here is going to be the best play. Because remember, if check raising is going to be the best play here, we have to assume that, number one, it's going to get bet. I think this is going to get checked through a lot. I think that a 10 is just going to check this down. If they're in there, if the fish and the cutoff, they're just going to check it down. They're like, oh, 7-9 came in, spades came in. Like, I have jack 10. I'm just going to check it down, right? So you have to get a bet, and then you have to get somebody to call a check raise. I mean, those two things have to happen versus just coming out and betting yourself. Like if I had played this hand in this manner, I'd just come out and bet like 150. and you just hope somebody runs into a 10. I mean, that's really what you're hoping for. You might even go, actually, if the guys on the cutoff or the button are bad enough, you might even just maybe bet 150 to 200. I mean, what you're looking for is somebody to call with a 10. But I'm not going to play a game to basically try to like get a check raise call. So again, I would just come out and bet, and I would bet on the larger side now for sure if we checked it to the
Okay.
river. So you check PFR bets 100. Yeah.
Yep. Then the button calls.
So cutoff folds,
Yeah.
button calls. Okay.
And then I check raise to 700.
To 700? Jesus.
Yeah.
So 265, 365. If you call, it would be 465. So you're making it a little bit over the size of the pot. I mean, you're making a sizing that seems like it would be you'd only get value from a flush, or if somebody somehow rivered two pair or had 7-9. I just don't think that these guys are really all that strong given this action. I mean, if you want to
Hmm.
check raise, why not make it like 300? Like I said, it just doesn't seem like these guys are all that strong. Like the button when he just calls here, like he's not going to have a flush, right? Usually all that
Yeah.
much. We talked about the PFR isn't really going to have a flush all that much. Could you make a bluff here with the ace of spades? Sure, I guess you could. Do people do it? Really, not that often. Not enough for people to hero call. I think. Listen, I'm all for going for value here, but I think that this is too large. So you check raise to 700.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Then the hijack or the PFR thinks about it for about 10 seconds and then jams the rest of his stack in, which is 1,700 total, 1,000 more for me to call. The button folds.
So he bet 100. Button calls. You make it 700, and he jams for 1,700 total. So at this point, let's see here. 265, 365, 365, 1065, and then 10, 16, 60, 2665, 1,000 for you to call. Is that right?
Yeah.
2665, 1,000 to call. I mean, listen, dude. Like, we can go down this rabbit hole all day long, and I would say that you're most likely not going to be good here. You're making a gigantic check raise over bet, and now you're getting 3-bet on the river. Now, yes, in theory, people can say, "Oh, he can do it with the ace of spades, right? Like he's gonna 3-bet me all in
Yeah. My
ace queen with the ace of spades." Yep, he certainly can do that. Well, I guess he can't do that. Well,
my
yeah, he
my
can.
thought process. Yeah, my thought process is that he wasn't gonna bet into three people with just the naked ace of spades.
Uh huh.
He would probably check if he was gonna bluff with the ace of spades. He'd probably check raise it on the river. It's like the cutoff and button raise. And he had like ace queen with the ace of spades. He'd probably check raise it. So when I was thinking about it,
He would probably
I
check.
was like, the
Wait a
only
minute.
hand that
He'd
he
probably
can,
check raise the river.
if he had like ace queen off with the ace of spades,
What?
I don't
Why?
think he would just try to bluff into three people for 100.
You think he would try to check?
No, I don't think he would.
Right. No, I mean, I'm just trying to go by your thought process because again, you're going to get a lot of those fish guys to just check back at 10. So going for a check raise bluff at the end. I mean, listen, I understand. I mean, the theory behind check raise bluffing the river is sometimes you have a hand that's got showdown value, right? And then when somebody bets, you know that they're no good. But it's a large assumption to be made, right? Like it's a very rare
Yeah.
situation for us to make that spot. All I'm saying is that this river is grossly on. I don't know the last time, if ever, I have seen somebody 3-bet bluff the river, especially against an overbet. And I would probably chalk it up to one of these situations where he just didn't bet the nut flush draw on the turn. By the way, 9-7 of spades is obviously the nuts, right?
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
if I'm doing the math right, and it's 2665, 1,000 to call, which I believe 14, 15, 16, 17, 26 or 27, 1,000 to call. I don't know, man. I don't think that you have the right price. It's probably not that bad to call just because you're high up and the hand is played strangely. I don't know what the deal is with this guy. It can't be a terrible call. I just don't know if you're going to be good here given the pot odds. Getting 1 out of 3.7 times. What ended up happening?
Okay. I ended up folding,
Uh-huh.
and so I don't really know what he had. But
Oh, you did? Okay. So you don't know
but
what
I
he
just
had.
wanted. No, I don't know what he had. I mean, he claimed like I asked him like 45 minutes later, and he said, "Of course I had a nut flush." But I mean, you never know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think I would have played the hand this way. I think what I would have done is bet the turn. And also, I would have bet the river for sure. So you come out and bet the river, like, say, 200, and he makes it like 5 or 600. Well,
I'm calling.
yeah, then you'd call for sure based with the way that the hands play, because it doesn't seem like he's got the nut flush. But you put in such a gross overbet. I mean, you have overbet check raise the river here, and then for the guy to basically 3-bet over the top because he can't expect you to fold a flush. If he's like, oh, I'm going to bet ace king with the ace of spades and turn it into a bluff to get the guy to fold. But interesting hand. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.